Hey guys, this is Pip again, and we've been talking about realtors and real estate brokers as a great person that we need to have on our power team. Now, when you're talking to realtors, generally a realtor will work in a geographic area. And so you're not going to have a realtor that works in both Dallas and Houston, that works in both Miami and Orlando. It just doesn't happen. Now, why isn't that? Because a real estate agent is going to be specific to their area and they're going to know certain neighborhoods. So we want to find their expertise out. Now, with mortgage brokers, they're a little different. And the difference between a real estate broker and a mortgage broker, I know I get that question. I, I find it tough for me sometimes because I've been doing this a really long time. And the longer you do something, the harder it is to remember what it was like before you knew it. And a lot of people are like, well, they're both brokers. Yeah, they're both brokers. There's stock brokers as well, and I'm sure there's other types of brokers. I was down in Florida, and there's boat brokers down there. Brokers is just a common term for people who have a lot of different things to sell, is what I've noticed. And they're brokering out different things. So a mortgage broker is brokering out money for multiple different types of lenders. Now, the mortgage brokers that we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about going on our first date with our mortgage broker right now. And on that first date with our mortgage broker, what we want to do is we really want to just kind of ask them a little bit about who they are and what they do, and then we'll get into more specifics. But this is going to be, and I forgot to write the word mortgage in there, the first date with our mortgage broker. First date with our mortgage broker here is what we're looking at doing. So when we're talking to a mortgage broker, remember, a mortgage broker could actually work at a bank. You could go into Chase Bank and there's a Chase Bank mortgage broker. But the problem with that mortgage broker is they're only lending money for Chase Bank. I want a mortgage broker that's more independent, and so I'm going to ask them, first and foremost, are they investor friendly? Do they work with other investors? What are some of the products that they have for investors? So products for investors is what I'm looking for. And always remember, whenever you're talking to somebody, always remember the good Lord gave you two ears and one mouth. You should use them in that ratio. You will learn a lot more by listening than you will by talking. And so we want to make sure that we do that. Now, what happens is, and you can learn to listen for the right things. And when we start to talk about to mortgage brokers and we ask them about investment products, you're just taking notes at that point. And then asking them, how do these products benefit me as an investor? There's things like debt service coverage ratio mortgages, so DSCR mortgages. There are all kinds of other mortgages out there. But what we really want to do is we want to find out by listening to them is we start asking them specific questions. And one of the questions I like to ask them is, do they have access to hard money lending? Do they have access to hard money lenders or hard money lending? Let's just go with hard money lenders. And you will learn a lot about your mortgage broker right then and there. Right then and there. And what does that tell you about him? How does that give you such a lot of information about your mortgage broker? Well, quite simply, it's this. When you are talking to a mortgage broker and you say, do you have access to hard money? And they immediately go into, well, oh, that's really expensive. Hard money is very expensive money. You don't want that. Well, I don't know that they can tell me what I want and what I don't want. I truly believe it's not the cost of the capital that's important, it's the availability. But I also don't blame the mortgage brokers for getting concerned about interest rates. Because we talk to mortgage brokers, they get beat up a lot. They get beat up a lot over time when it comes to mortgage rates. And if somebody's beating them up over 0.25% on interest, and you go in there and you say, I'm not concerned about a high interest rate mortgage on a hard money loan, they may be very confused by that because they don't really understand that process. Most of the people on our power team are not trained to be investors. They're trained to do what they do. And in this instance, they're trained to find you money. I am fine if my mortgage broker tells me they don't have access to hard money. If they have access to hard money, great. But if they don't, I'm going to show you on the next video how we can get intimate with that mortgage broker, even though they don't have access to hard money, and then we can help our business exponentially. Look forward to seeing you guys on the next video.